welcome to the first episode of Sitting on the Floor. My name's Bella.
My name's Kira.
And honestly, we're just going to be sitting here and yapping for the next, I don't know how many minutes.
Yes, we are.
Could be hours, could be days, who knows. Could do a live stream one day.
Some months, some centuries.
Yeah, exactly. So this episode, we're just going to be, honestly, I guess doing a little bit of a get to know us. There's not really much, at least on my end, to know about
honestly.
me. I wake up, I go to work, I eat, I come home, and I sleep.
Real.
So instead of spending like an insane amount of time going over boring details, I feel like stories are the way to go, which are funny. So I have a story that she's never heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
I'm ready to hear it now, actually.
Really?
Dig in.
You want to hear it? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So this is the story of my first date, which I think it's like my favorite story to tell. Okay?
Are we name dropping?
Are we name dropping? Should we? I haven't seen this guy in like 3 years. So
I say yes. Well, with certain stories, no. But with this one, I feel like.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen this guy in 3 years. We went on one date and immediately I was like,
full name.
Gotta go. Full name. First, middle, last name. I checked his birth certificate when I got in the door.
Do you have a social security number?
What's your social security number, sir? Okay. I was homeschooled pretty much, or online schooled all through high school, and not because of COVID-19, but because of my social anxiety. So starting in the year, I think 2017, I started becoming online schooled.
COVID didn't happen until like 2020.
COVID-19 was 2020. But I was online schooled and I didn't get the opportunity to like meet a ton of boys and stuff like that. Like I did get very lucky that the friends that I made in school before I transitioned to doing online school, like I still have to this day, every single one of them. So, I mean, like, we were with each other through thick and thin. It didn't matter that I was in school or not. But none of them happened to be, like, boys or, like, boys I would date or anything. Mm-hmm. So the day I turned 18, girl, you must believe I had Bumble, I had Tinder, I had anything. I had Plenty of Fish, like, Christian. Like, I was just, like, I was in there. I was in the trenches. I was like, I'm gonna find me a man.
Plenty of Fish, that's crazy.
No. But yeah, I was on, oh my god, sidetracking. Do you remember before you turned 18, there was an app that you could use called, like, Yubo? It was Yubo.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was on Yubo. Before it was Yubo, I think it was called, like, Yellow or something like that. Yeah, I was on those. Nothing really came out of it. So the day I turned 18, I was like, I'm going hardcore. So I'm downloading like Tinder, Bumble, all of these things. The day of, girl. I was like, happy birthday plans. I was like, happy birthday to me. So yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm swiping and doing whatnot. And I swipe on this guy named Alex. That was his name. Alex. We're name dropping you, motherfucker. I don't know this man. I should have known this man's last name. But like, who let me get in? Anyways.
So, all Alexes are bad.
All Alexes are bad. And almost all Nicks are too. Like, I have not, anyways. We met, I will say, it wasn't really like a very first date. Like, we met up before, but I was just meeting this man to make sure he wasn't a killer. Like, it wasn't a date. I met him for like 20 minutes at a store and then dipped out. Like, that's not a date. I was just making sure he was cool. Mm-hmm.
Did you like plan the meetup or did you just run into him?
No, we did plan the meetup. I was just like, oh, I'm going to the store, like, if you want to tag along. And he was like, okay. So he came and we met for like 20 minutes. And then he tried to take me out on a date after that. And I was like, I'm busy. Which, like, you think should have been my first red flag. So I was like 18 and ready to date. And I was like, no, I'm good. But yeah, so we had been texting for like a week after that about things to do. And he came up with the idea. He was like, we should go go-karting. And you know, there's a place around here that does go-karting and mini golfing.
They closed that place.
It was a different one. The one that's more uptown, upstate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we decided on this place. We're like, okay, this is where we're gonna go. And he was like, I can pick you up and we can get food before. I was like, okay. Side note, if you have ever never ever accept a ride from somebody on the first date, ever. Rule number 1, that is like my diehard rule. I don't care, like, I got really lucky with my boyfriend, with Kyler. Mm-hmm. I got really lucky because I got in his car on the first date. I trusted that man. But this story is not about Kyler. This story is not about him. This is about Alex. Fuck you, Alex. Alex, if you see this motherfucker, like, it's going down. But anyways, anyways, so he was like, oh, we'll go out to eat before. And I was like, okay. So he knew that I was vegetarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
He also knew that I was 18. He was 22. Listen, girl.
I mean, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but I also feel like there's a certain age where, like, I know that once you're legal, people are like, oh, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I also
But, like, freshly 18 is also,
freshly 18 versus 22. Like, I wouldn't, right now I'm 21, I wouldn't date somebody 18.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
It's like morals at, like, one point.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, like, that makes you bad. Like, I don't think it makes you bad. I think it's just, like, it's a bit of an age jump to where it's like, how much are we gonna have in common, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, so he took me to a bar where I could not eat or drink anything because I was 18 and vegetarian. And I was just like,
he took you to a bar?
A bar. On the drive to the bar, let me tell you how this drive went, Kira. On the drive to the bar, we're in there. And we're talking about family and whatnot and everything like that. And then the conversation kind of dies. And he's got one hand on the wheel, and the other hand is just like propped down here. And he looks over to me and he goes,
I'm sorry.
He goes, do you think fish date? And I was like, okay, maybe this guy's funny as fuck. I was like, okay. I was like, probably, yeah. I was like, yeah, why not? Why can't fish date? He's like, well, do you think they have thoughts? And then I'm like, oh, this guy's not kidding. I was like, he's like dead ass. He's like really asking me. And I was like, you know, maybe. I'm not a fish.
Maybe. Do you beverage?
I was like, do you beverage? Will you beverage? But no, I was like, maybe they date. I don't know. And he's like, well, do you believe in the third celestial plane? And I'm like, whoa. Hold the fuck on. And he starts like he's interrogating me. This is on the drive to the restaurant. I'm just like, okay. I was like, maybe you're a little invested in whatever you've got going on.
Right.
Maybe an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old do have something in common. I don't know. But I was just like, okay, whatever. So we get to the bar, whatever, and I'm like, what am I gonna eat or drink here? And I finally found something that I could eat. It was a side of biscuits. So
they didn't have French fries?
Nah, girl. I was in the trenches that day.
Oh my god.
They had biscuits.
Were they buttered?
They were really good biscuits, I
Okay.
will say. But they were $13 for 4 of them.
Did he pay for you?
He did.
Okay.
But here's the thing. He gets there and he orders a drink and he drinks it. And I know a lot of people are going to think that that's stupid for me to be antsy about that because a lot of people order drinks with like their lunch or their dinner and whatnot, and they'll drink it and then they'll drive home and they don't think it's a big deal. But to me, that makes me uncomfy. But he did that and he kept saying things. He was like, well, do you want me to order you one? And I was like, no, sure don't. And he was like, well, I won't tell anybody. And I'm like, I really don't like that you're trying to get me to drink right now. And I was like, no, I'm not, no. I was like, I'm not doing that. And so I finally talked him down, and the waitress came over. She took our orders and whatnot. She gave us our food. And we're just sitting there in silence eating. And it's just so painfully awkward. And I'm just like, eating my biscuits. I'm like,
what did he get?
He got some like really big platter. He got like a huge thing. And it was...
And he was just watching you eat the biscuits?
He was watching me eat the biscuits. And he knew I was vegetarian, too. He was like, well, where do you want to go? And I was like, honestly, just anywhere I can eat. And I do tell people before we go out to eat, I always tell people, I'm like, oh, like, I can eat pretty much anywhere. Like, I'll find something to eat. And Tyler, like, I'm really lucky with Kyler because he's like, no, absolutely not. We're going somewhere where you want to eat something. He's like, I'm not going to have you just settle because you can eat something versus you not getting something that you want. He was like, I'm not going to take you to some freaking smokehouse and be like, oh, you're ordering fries.
Smokehouse?
He's like, I'm not taking you to a smokehouse and be like, oh, you're ordering fries. He's like, I don't care if I don't care if you can eat fries. He's like, do you want fries? Because at the end of the day, if you don't want fries, then I'm not taking you there, you know? So, but I did get very lucky with that. So, in his defense, I did tell him, I was like, I can find something to eat anywhere. I didn't think he was going to take me somewhere where the only option was biscuits.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the waitress comes over, takes the bill, and he does this move that, like, to this day still pisses me off. Anytime that I'm talking to somebody and they're like, what's your biggest red flag? Or like, what's your biggest pet peeve? It's when people are rude to waitstaff. And it's because of him.
Oh my god.
So he takes this cash out of his pocket and he goes... And he slides it to her across the table and he goes, that's for you. And then he got up and walked away. And I was like, you did not just do that.
I can't even with like, was it a tip?
Mm-hmm. And she just kind of like looked at it and she was like, thanks. And he started walking away and I went over to her and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, and I started like pulling out cash from my pocket. She's like, you're fine. It's okay. And I was like, that was really rude of him though. Like,
I can't do people that are like rude because it like how can you be that rude to somebody? They're just giving you like food.
Exactly.
They're just there to serve you and you're gonna be rude to them.
Yeah, it was, and she was so nice the whole time. Like she was like, oh my god, like are you guys on a date? And we were like, yeah. And she was like, oh, that's so cute. Like what are you guys gonna go do? And like, you know, she was really nice and conversational. So she was going above and beyond. Like she wasn't just being like your standard like, hi, what can I get you, whatever. Like she was being really sweet. But yeah, and I was just like, okay. So we walk back to the car and we start driving to the go-kart place, the go-kart mini golf. And we get there to buy the tickets and he was like, well, I got lunch, so are you gonna get this? And I was like, well, number one, hold on, motherfucker, I ate biscuits for lunch. I ate biscuits for lunch. You had a full platter and alcohol. I was like, we're going go-karting. That's not cheap.
Right.
I was like, yeah. I was like, I can. And then he was like, no, never mind. It's fine. I got it. And I was just like, okay. I was like, okay, I'm not going to fight you on that. So he pulls out his card and he's paying for it and whatnot. And he's like, I've really got to go to the bathroom. Like, can we go into the arcade? And I was like, okay. So we go to the arcade. And I'm standing around doing, I don't fucking know what. I'm just standing there waiting for him. He goes to the bathroom. He comes out and he's like, oh, that place was disgusting and dirty. And he's like complaining. I'm like, whatever. Who gives a fuck? So we go over to go-karts. And the person in the line was like, oh, do you want 1 or 2 go-karts? And I was like, 2. And he goes, no, 1. And I was like, 2's fine. I was like, we can do 2 go-karts. And the guy was like, well, it's just usually like if you get 1 go-kart for like a father and a son, or a mother and a son, or a mother and daughter, or father and daughter. He's like, usually it's for a parent and their child. And he was like, no, we'll fit. And I was like, I'm really okay with 2. And he was like, no, 1. So we get up there, and the way that they counted it was they counted out every person and however many go-karts were on the tracks, like 12. So they counted out the 12 go-karts and then the 12 groups of people, whether that be 1 or 2. And so we're up there. There's 1 cart left. It's for us. And lo and behold, we do not fucking fit.
That's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing. And I'm just like standing there and I'm like, it's fine. I was like, go-karting. Go. I was like, that's all you. And he was like, well, we can just wait for the next one. I was like, no, because then they're going to charge us twice. Because they had said, they were like, well, we can't let you through again. Like, we'd have to charge you again. And I was like, just go-karting. I was like, go. And he was like, and you know what he told me? He was like, it's just because your ass is too fat to fit in the go-kart.
Alex? I'm coming for you.
Alex?
What the fuck?
I was blown away. And I just kind of was like, okay. So I turned around. I walked off the track.
Please tell me you called somebody to pick you up.
I'm texting all of my friends. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I'm like, what do I do? And they're like, we'll come pick you up. And I'm like, how do I tell him that I need to leave? Like, whatever. And then he comes out and he's like, all right, cool, let's go mini golfing. And I'm like, okay. So we go mini golfing. Girl, at this point, I was just like, I was in it for the plot at that point. I was like, what the fuck's gonna happen? So we not go-karting, we go mini golfing. Because like I said, it's a location where there's mini golfing and go-karting. So we go over to the mini golf course, and this is a family course. Like, there are kids and families there. He has the mouth of a sailor.
Like, do I?
What'd you say?
I also have the mouth of a sailor.
I have a horrible, horrible potty mouth. However, I know when to not say some things around some kids.
I can try to keep it in.
Yeah.
Like if there's like tons of children around, but sometimes I'm like very like unaware.
Yeah. So we went on, I think like a Saturday. It was super busy. It was packed. Like we were like in the mini golf course. It was, we would go and then there would be somebody in front of us and somebody behind us, and it was both families. So it was taking a long time to get through this course. And anytime he wouldn't get it in the hole or like he would miss a shot or something like that, he'd be like, motherfucker. It was like, fucking shit. Oh my fucking God. And I was like, I kept looking at him. I was like, you need to, I was like, stop. There are kids. I was like, you have to, I was like, there are kids around here. You can't do that. And he was like, that's just, that's fucking stupid. And I'm like, well, you chose mini golf. There are kids here. I'm gonna need you to behave. Like, watch your mouth. Like, this is ridiculous. And then he would take the golf ball, and there are little like stakes, like wooden stakes with the signs on them that have like the number course that it is. Mm-hmm. So he would take it, and the signs are made out of plastic, and he would bang it, and he would toss the ball and catch it off the thing, and it was making so much noise. And I'm just
what is he there. 5?
I don't know. I'm getting like so overstimulated. I understand why he liked 18-year-olds now. The mentality of fucking, I was going insane. I was just like, this is absolutely like, I kept thinking, I was like, there's no way it can get worse. I was like, there is no way this can like get any worse.
Did it?
It did. So then he starts complaining about the families around us. He's like, they're taking forever. They're so slow. And he's being so loud. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, you need to knock it off. It's like, I should not be your babysitter right now.
Right.
I am 4 years younger than you. I should not be like trying to teach you common decency. And then I don't know what provoked this, but he looks at me. He's like, wouldn't it be like so funny if I just did this? And he takes the golf club and he hits me in the back of the knee with it. And it wasn't like aggressively hard, but it was enough to where like I flinched and I hit down. And I was like, ow, that hurt. And he's like, oh my God, that's so funny. And I'm like, you're what the fuck? I was like, you're fucking crazy. Oh my God. I was like, you're insane right now. Bro. I was just like, okay, word. Then we get around on the other side of the golf course.
I'm sorry, wait, I'm not over it. I'm not over it. So how? Okay. Like, there's a wire fence, like, on the golf, like, on dividing the mini golf course from the parking lot, right? And there are a whole bunch of pine cones. So he starts hitting the pine cones in his spare time with the golf club, hitting them over the fence, and they're hitting people's cars. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so good at this. And I was like, okay, cool, no worries, whatever. I'm just sitting here and I'm like counting down the minutes. And then finally, at some point, he gets some text message, I guess from his mom, or like his family was coming into town or something like that. Or, you know, his family was coming into town. I don't know if he faked this shit. I don't know what I did. But he was just like, we gotta go. We gotta go. My mom's, she just flew in. She's gonna be here any minute. And I'm like, this is really abrupt. Like, okay. So we get in the car, and we're driving there in silence. He's driving me home in silence. And finally, he pulls out his phone. And he's like, I'm gonna play you something on the radio. And I was like, was he in college?
No.
Because he's giving, like, frat boy vibes, but, like, bad frat boy vibes.
I'm gonna cut it out. He worked in...
Now I'm not surprised anymore.
Yeah. So...
that makes so much sense.
Yeah. So, we were driving home. He's like, I'm gonna play you something. And I was like, okay. This motherfucker, unironically, plays the jazz rendition of the Wii music.
I love that. Everything else about this dude, holding it against him, but that
he listens to it so often that about 2.5 minutes in, he goes, "There's a really great alto saxophone." He cuts it on for 2.5. Yes. He goes, "There's a really great alto saxophone solo coming up," and it's like, do do do. Going fucking ham in the driver's seat. He's like, oh, dude. Like, he's eating that shit up. And then finally, we go up to my house. I get out of the car, and immediately he just pulls away. He was like, okay, catch you later. And I was like, I'm not even gonna see if I make it in the front fucking door.
I always wait until people, like, get inside of the house.
I was just like, okay, bye. And he turned around and I started dying laughing. I was just like, I was like on the front lawn, like just losing my shit. And then about
2 days later, he texted me and he was like, hey, so I just wanted to know, like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, what's wrong with me? Bestie, thanks so much for asking. I have so many. So many things. But yeah, so that was my first date ever.
Did you respond?
No, I sure as fuck did not respond. I was not putting any more effort into that.
Girl, I would have hit the block button as soon as I got into the house.
The thing is like, you have to remember that was like my first date. And so in my head, I was just like, is this what dating is? Like,
yeah, that's terrifying.
I was texting all of my friends. I was like, I'm never going on another date ever again. I was like, fuck this shit. Y'all can keep it. I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life.
Y'all can have Alex.
I was like, y'all can. Anyways, Alex, fuck you.
Fuck you, Alex.
And it's crazy because like every time I tell that story, people like, it sounds crazy, but I tell it the exact same every time that I tell it. It's just,
I feel like if I were like, that's definitely like a plot point in a movie.
Yeah,
like
it was insane. But yeah, that's my story to get to know me, just so you know how much shit I'm willing to put up with before I like call it quits on somebody.
That's actually crazy. I would have literally like, first of all, why did you get into his car? I have trouble like trusting people with even like where I live. Like even like I can't have somebody pull up to my house and pick me up unless I am like tight with that person.
Can I be so honest with you?
Yes.
He drove my dream car. I was just like,
what was it?
It was like a 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's a nice car. And I know people are going to be like, that's a fucking ugly car. Listen, bitch. It was in the color I wanted. Everything was in that forest green. It was just like, oh. He was like, when we were talking about cars, he was like, oh yeah, like, do you want to meet there? And I didn't have a car at the time. So I was just like, I was like, I don't have a car. And he's like, I'll pick you up. I was like, oh, cool. What type of car do you drive? And he's like, a Jeep Grand Cherokee. He was like, I'm jumping in now. I was like, girl, can you come get me now? I was like,
first mistake.
First mistake. Don't ever do it. I don't care if they're driving a freaking, what are some good cars? I don't care if they're, I don't like cars. I don't want to be like,
not the car person to ask.
I don't want to be like, oh, if he's driving a Lamborghini, but like, I also don't think people give a fuck about Lamborghinis.
I think I hate Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
I hate Lamborghinis. I think I hate Teslas. I think I hate Corvettes.
I went to San Francisco last year and I counted how many Teslas I could count in one day. 373 Teslas in one day.
There's no way.
Yeah. I wish I was kidding.
That's insane.
I wish I was kidding. My mom got so pissed at me because I did it the whole day. I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4.
How do you remember?
Because I was pissed.
At like 12.
I was pissed because I hated Teslas before we went, and I was like, God, there's so many fucking Teslas here, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I fucking hate Teslas, and so I started counting how many I could find, and it was horrible.
Fucking, that's insane.
Yeah, that's the story of my first date.
Fuck you, Alex.
Fuck you, Alex.
Oh, you know what we can talk about?
What?
Because I was gonna bring up like when you started actually like remembering things, like consciousness, like stuff like that, and like I don't remember anything from before I was like 15. Like I remember like bits and pieces, but it's bits and pieces that people have like told me about, you know what I mean? Or if I see like a picture, like, oh my God, my old Dropbox, I had so many pictures from middle school.
Oh my God. That's like the best and scariest thing at the same time. Because you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. You're like, oh my God,
I lost all of them because I forgot my Dropbox password.
It's the worst. I had like 3 Dropbox accounts and I only remember one of them. And it makes me so mad because it's like the amount of things that I could find on there is just insane.
Yeah, we had like a big friend group in like middle school.
We did, yeah. I remember there's this video. Like, I have a lot of videos of you. I think I was sending them to you one time, but it was like, it's one of my favorite videos of you ever. You took, we were in the food court of the mall, and I think we were in like 7th or 8th grade. And at one point you got like, you pulled a scene in the middle of the food court. You kicked your shoes off and you were standing there in your socks. And you go, I've had enough. And that was the whole video.
I need you to find that and put it in this video.
You were like, I've had enough.
That's crazy.
There was another one of like I had of you. We were drinking boba and you were like swirling the straw around in the top. And somebody was like, are you throwing that away? Because it looked like you were done. You were like, this one? No, this one, girl. And you were like,
oh, I thought you were throwing away.
And it was like the funniest thing ever to me.
I feel like I was pretty funny in middle school.
You were the funniest. Like, you still are, dude. I get with you and I'm fucking, like, dying all the time.
I don't know. My high school, like, I knew, like, nobody in high school. Like, all my friends went to all, like, different schools.
Yeah.
So, like, I had to, like, create, except for, like, the 3 boys.
Yeah.
But other than them, like, I had to make, like, a whole new, like, friend group. And I feel like high school really, like, changed, like, myself. Because I couldn't be myself in a group of people that I didn't fucking know.
Yeah.
So it was like my personality changed like a lot. Like when I got into 9th grade.
That's what's so crazy too is like it's are you
Sorry.
okay?
Yeah.
No, you're good. It's crazy because I feel like when you go from like elementary school to middle school, you don't change that much because at least here there's only so many like elementary schools and so many middle schools that you can go into.
Yeah.
And I mean, with high schools here it's the same way, but for some reason it just like I don't know why. It just feels like everybody scatters so much more like between middle school and high school than elementary school to middle school.
I think there's less like high schools around.
Yeah. And it's crazier too because I feel like you should have more means to like stay in touch with people between middle school and high school than you did in elementary school because there's not a lot of elementary school kids who have like cell phones or were like living in the same neighborhood so we could hang out daily and stuff like that. So like between middle school and high school, like it's a lot easier because we have cell phones. There's a lot more social media. There's a lot more like, I don't want to say ways to get to and from, but like there's a lot more trust that goes into those relationships, like with your parents as well, that they let you like stay overnight and do things with other people.
I spent so long at your house.
You spent a whole summer at my house. My mom gave you chores. She said, give me your shopping list and I'll give you chores. Like it was
Them tortellinis were banging.
Dude, we lived off of tortellini that summer.
They were so good.
That and then whatever like baking supplies my mom had and like random ass shit, quesadillas, like freaking man, incredible.
Your mom makes the best quesadillas.
I have never had one of her quesadillas.
That's crazy. I fucking love her quesadillas, bro.
I know you did. You requested one while you were blackout drunk at my party. She crawled into my mom's lap on Halloween. She's like, Mom.
I don't drink often, but when I do drink, I feel like I get shit faced.
Well, it's also, do you know what's so crazy too? Is people make fun of people who are like lightweights and like get drunk easy, but I tell you what, it's cheap for me to drink. Like it's cheap, it's easy. I don't have to sit here and consume like 14 beverages for me to get half as close to what you are.
Right.
So you said you had like a memory of like you didn't start developing memories until you were like 15.
Yeah.
So
like well, not like developing, but like there's a lot of stuff that I don't remember, probably just because of trauma. But there's like some stuff that I can like piece together, or sometimes like I'll just be sitting like somewhere or doing something and it'll remind me of something that like happened like way before, and I'll be like, oh my god, like I've done that before, I've like smelled that before, like this reminds me of this smell, you know what I mean?
Oh, those are the best too. Like when you're smelling it, you're like, oh.
But it's the worst when I smell it and I know like what it is, but I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, that is true. So do you remember, I know we talked about this the other day, but you remember your first nightmare?
Yes. Oh my god, you go first.
Okay, so for my first nightmare, do you know the rooster from Dora the Explorer?
Yeah.
Do you actually? Like, because I can pull the picture real quick. Okay.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay. So we're following, right? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's him. That's the rooster.
Put a picture up there too.
I'll put a picture up here. This is the rooster that was in my nightmare. But basically, we were in this like apocalyptic world. Okay. This rooster it was a child-eating rooster.
Was this in like 3D?
Dude, I don't know.
Because that would be terrifying.
It was fucking horrifying.
So
why
scary.
do you think I remember it so well?
Wait, was it the baby one or the big one?
No, it was the big one.
Okay,
bro.
yeah.
If it was the baby one, I would have fucking kicked that shit. Like, come on. No, okay, so it didn't go after the parents, and it was only like I don't know if it was just. I mean, I was gonna say I don't know if it was just the kids with parents. All kids have parents.
I don't have parents.
I don't have parents. But no, it would go after the kids. And the parents were like trying to protect us, but also there wasn't so much that they could do. And he would just suck our souls out. Like I don't know. Dementor. No, it would suck our souls out, and like as it sucked our souls out, it would like prune us and like turn us up all like
oh my god.
Yeah, but there was one thing that could revive us, and that was like fruits and vegetables and everything. And so I don't know if I was like watching a fucking infographic on how to eat your fruits and veggies before I went to bed that night. I don't know, but like in my head I was like, fruits and veggies good. But I was running from this rooster, and I went through a door, and it was like the McDonald's play place. And so
that's already terrifying by itself.
Terrifying. A rooster chasing you through the play place. Anyways, I crawl up, and there is this shriveled up girl in one of the tunnels. So I guess she went in there to hide, and it got her. And she's sitting there, and she has this peach in her hand for her to eat. And she's shriveled up, and she's dying. And she looks at me running from him, and she told me, she said, take it. So I took the peach.
Aww.
Which is very sweet. Why the fuck would I take the peach?
I'd be running straight past that little girl, honestly.
I was like, thanks, Misty. And so, you know, I run out, and I get out of the play place, and I go through these big double doors. And the double doors open up into this ballroom. And it's a whole bunch of adults in, like, suits and ties and ball gowns and everything like that. Which, why were the adults there? Why were they not protecting us? But that's besides the point. They didn't give a fuck about us, okay? They were having their charity event, gala, and they needed to get their money. I don't know what they were doing, but they didn't care about us. And so they all line up in these, like, horizontal lines. And I guess I looked down, and I was, like, in formal attire, so I went to go stand next to them, even though I was, like, really young, so I don't know who I thought I was fooling. But they do this thing where, like, they bow down, like, to, I guess, bow to their partner or something like that. And so I went to do that, and when I went down, I looked, like, underneath, like, between my legs, and the chicken was there, staring at me.
Oh my god!
I shot up, and I don't know what happened after that. I, like, woke up, but I could not watch Dora for, like, a year.
That is terrifying.
That was my first nightmare.
That rooster.
That rooster is terrifying.
I need to know if you saw this in, like, 2D or 3D, because that in 3D, like, chasing
horrifying.
after me, I would, like, dissipate. He wouldn't even have to take my soul. I'd be fucking ash.
Oh my god. It was, I don't know, but I remember, I still, like, once a week, I think about, like, what it looked like when I looked underneath my legs, and the rooster was there. Like, it was terrifying. Like, that motherfucker had it out for me.
Between my legs and the cock was there. I'm sorry.
There was just this big thing there.
Oh my god. Okay, so mine isn't that, like, detailed.
No?
Mine is like, okay, it's the very first nightmare I had. I also remember the first time I ever had sleep paralysis. So I'm gonna tell that one first because it's shorter. But I was laying, and we had bunk beds when we were kids, and I would sleep on the top, and my brother was on the bottom. And we had a TV in the room, like, across from the bed, and I would watch TV as I was, like, going to sleep. It might have been my sister under, like, on the bottom bunk. I don't remember, but I think I was, like, 6, something like that, and I was freaking out. Like, you know when you, like, go to sleep and then you wake back up and then you try to go back to sleep, and that's when, like, you have, like, the most dreams, kind of.
Yeah.
So I had woken up, and it was, like, 3 or 4 in the morning, and Bob the Builder was on on the TV.
Pause.
And I'm sitting there watching Bob the Builder, falling asleep, and I don't look, my, like, body looks at the end of my bed, and there's just a tall, like, dark figure. And I'm sitting there trying to yell for help. And I'm like, I can't move anything. And I'm sitting there trying to scream, but I can't scream. Like, it was terrifying. And so this dark figure is just standing there staring at me, and I'm trying to tune back into Bob the Builder. I'm trying to get Bob the Builder to help me. I was like,
He can fix it. Yes, he can.
And so I'm sitting there. It's like a whole, like, 10 minutes of me just sitting there trying to tune back into Bob, trying to close my eyes, but my eyes wouldn't close. And I don't know. It was just so terrifying. That was the very first time that, like, I remember having, like, sleep paralysis, and I had never had it before, and it doesn't happen often anymore, but most of the time it's just, like, a feeling of being, like, watched when I'm trying to go to sleep.
I've never had sleep paralysis, and I think everything for that, because
You never had sleep paralysis?
no, honestly, I think it's because I have way too much things I'm working on. My body is like, she's good, she's getting her quota. Like,
Dude, I just have, like, a constant, like, whenever I'm, like, like dozing off, like I just feel something staring at me, and like there's like pressure in your chest, and it's like
no.
You've never had that?
No, and think fuck.
Oh my god, that's like mind blowing actually.
No.
Okay, but my first nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
I think it happened when I was like 6 also.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there in a parking lot. No cars in the parking lot. It's bright as fuck outside. And I'm the only one there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big like office building kind of. And the whole like front of it is like windows.
Mm-hmm.
And the other sides are like white walls. And so I look and to the like behind me, and there's like another tall fucking dark guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking haunting me. So I run into the building, and I get on the elevator. Why didn't I take the fucking stairs? I got on the elevator. I feel like elevators are more like dangerous to be in. I don't know, in that situation. But I take the elevator.
She said, I am not walking up the
So
stairs.
like the 13th, 14th floor or something.
Whoa. 13.
Your number's up. And so I get out of the elevator, and it's a big like white room. And the elevator like disappears. Like there's no more elevator after I walk off the elevator. And so it's a wall of windows, and then the rest is just like white walls. And I still see the tall man like walking towards me, and at this point he's like as tall as the building. Like he is huge. And so I had nowhere to go. This dude was staring me in my face, so I run to the corner of the room and I jump out the window, and then it just ends. And but I have this dream, like, I don't want to say constantly, but like at least once a year now. Like I used to get it like often, like once a month. Up until I was like 13, like 14.
My dad, that just reminded me of my dad. I was in the car with him like a week or two ago, and he said, yeah, I've been sleeping so much better at night lately. And I was like, oh, that's good. He's like, yeah, that means no more Spider-Man dreams.
I would love Spider-Man dreams.
I was like, what? Like, he said this with no context. He goes, yeah, like once a month I've been having a dream that I get to dress up as Spider-Man. Like, it's gonna save people.
I'm sorry. The thought of your dad dressing up as Spider-Man.
I was like, oh no, no more Spider-Man dreams. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You were just like,
Oh, that is fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
it's like the funniest thing in the world.
That's so funny.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. But yeah, like that's like a reoccurring dream. I haven't had it in a while, but I remember it like very vividly, and the same thing happens every single time. I have nowhere to go. I can't do anything about it.
That's so weird. Like I used to have like a repetitive dream that I would just be like flying, and I was telling my dad about that, and I was like, yeah, like I keep having dreams that I'm flying, and he's like, oh, that means you're carefree. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Because that's simply not the truth. I have many cares in the world.
I feel like my dreams are like very vivid, like, but most of them are like not normal people dreams. Like I've never had a dream about flying. I've never had a dream about like being in my underwear in front of like a crowd.
No,
like,
I don't think
all
I
of
have
my
either.
dreams are like terrifyingly like weird.
No, for the most part, mine are weird. I don't have dreams about me flying anymore. Every once in a while, I used to have like a dream that I would like spit out a tooth or something like that. But like, those are also apparently really common. It just means that one means that you are stressed and you do have cares in the world, which y'all are contradicting yourselves. But no, I've had like a couple of really weird dreams that like definitely still like stand out to me. Like one was anytime I have a nightmare about somebody dying, it's always my little sister Riley. Like
That's scary.
it's terrifying. Like I wake up like shaking every time. The first time she died in a zombie apocalypse, and it was like really sad. It was really sad.
I'm sorry. I had a zombie apocalypse dream, and it was really fucking weird. Like I want to tell you, but I don't want to tell them.
Oh, okay, you can tell me later. But I had a zombie apocalypse dream that Riley got bit and died. And then I had a dream, and this happened like around this time last year. Well, like 14 months ago, back in January. And I remember because I was in San Francisco with my mom, and I like shot out of bed, and I was like freaking the fuck out. And then I told my mom, because she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I had a bad dream. And she's like, well, what did you have a dream about? And she was like, "Are you okay?" And so I started telling her, and then she starts laughing her ass off. She was like, "That's dumb as fuck." And I was like, it was terrifying. But Riley and I were in like a water park, and there was this like giant elephant in the water park, and it basically would like play with the kids and like spray them with water and like pick them up by the trunk and like with their trunk and everything and like play with them.
That's
It
terrifying.
It's terrifying. And all of a sudden it just like snapped and it got mad and it started like going. And so Riley and I were trying to save the kids, so we were distracting the elephant. And there were like these little like playhouses in the water park. And so we distracted the elephant and we chased it, or we ran into the water park, like the little house, hoping that the elephant wouldn't be able to get in. And it stuck its trunk in through the door and it grabbed Riley by her foot and it threw her in the air.
That's such Stranger Things vibes.
I know. It took her out of the house and it threw her in the air, and then she belly flopped into the water and died. But I like, as her body hit the water, I shot out of bed and I was like, and my mom's like, what? And I was like, Mom, oh my God. I was like, and I almost started crying because it was terrifying. And she's like, what's wrong? And so I told her, and she's like, that's dumb as fuck. And she was like, come on. And I was like, it was terrifying.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff that like it's like scarier when you dream it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
No, but I think those are the two dreams that I think about a lot.
Mm-hmm. I feel like when I'm like away from home is when I have like the worst like nightmares. Like when I'm like, if I like travel somewhere, like if I'm going to like New York and I like sleep over some like in a hotel or something.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that's when I have like the worst nightmares of my life.
That's valid. I never thought about that, but anytime I'm like spending the night at somebody else's house, or like I'm out, like I cannot sleep. I'm always having the weirdest dreams, and it's just like not weird dreams that are like, oh, this is funny. Like weird dreams that are like unsettling.
Yeah, I feel like it might have something to do with like how not like how like uncomfortable it is to sleep, but how more like aware you are.
Yeah.
Like while you're trying to go to sleep, because even if I'm like sleeping on the couch, like I don't know, like if I'm in my room, I'm comfortable. I know nobody's gonna come in here, but if I'm like on the couch, somebody could walk in the front door. So I just feel like it's more like
it's like your subconscious like telling you that you're safe and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but it's unsettling as fuck, bro.
Yeah, that shit. I can't like. I like try to write down as many dreams as like I remember. Like I have them in my notes. I used to have a dream journal, but I didn't like keeping up with the journal because I would have to like grab a pen, grab the book, write it down, and then most of my dreams like I have like, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and then and I don't want to write them down, so I just open my notes. Jotted in there. I
just remembered that there is this one note in my phone that like is the funniest thing in the world to me. I don't know what I was dreaming. I don't know what happened, but I woke up out of a dead sleep and I wrote in my notes, imagine a murderer leaving his signature by putting mustard up somebody's
I think I saw that on your TikTok.
And like, I don't know what it, like, I woke up out of a dead sleep to write that, and I fell right back asleep. Like, I don't know what dreams I was having. I woke up the next morning, like, I didn't find that note for like 2 weeks.
That makes it 10 times better.
I forgot about it, and then I opened up my note tab. Because you know how sometimes like you be going through your notes app and you're like, what am I putting in here? And like I opened it up and I was like, what the fuck am I putting in here? And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude. My notes app is like so unhinged. Half of them are like the dreams, and then other half of it is like stuff I don't even know what I was talking about, like random like numbers or like sentences.
I find the most random numbers in my notes app. I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, am I a fucking accountant? Like, what's going on? Who am I adding? Like, what am I doing right here? Am I adding my funds? Are there debits and credits?
Debits and credits.
Did you ever take accounting? Ever?
Like in high school?
Yeah. Or
I took
or
I think it was accounting. It was like finance,
Girl,
personal finance.
I was a beast in accounting.
You had an accounting class?
Not in high school, in college, and for my business degree. I had to take an accounting class, and I cried like every day, and thank God for my teacher.
Shout out to her accounting teacher.
Shout out to my accounting teacher. You're literally a godsend, because I would like be crying and I would email him and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he'd be like, do you want a Zoom call? And I'm like, yes, can I please get a Zoom call? And so we get in there and I'd be like, what am I doing? And so I was talking to him. And then it got to the point where like he knew about my life. Like he'd be like, oh, how's work going? And I'd be like, oh, this, and this. He's like, yeah, you're still working here, right? And I was like, yeah. He'd be like, oh, well, how's that going? I'd be like, it's good.
I love clutch teachers.
For real, he was a real one. Like, shout out to you. Got me an A in that class, like both semesters, because I had to take 2 semesters of it, and I got an A in both of them. And I mean, like, I would be there in class, and I mean, and it was really hard, especially because it was during quarantine, so I couldn't like go in class. Like, I had to do it online, and that's really hard as well because you don't have like the same amount of time. I mean, you do have the same amount of time with the teacher, but you can't like do that. But yeah.
I had some really like clutch teachers in high school because I honestly should have failed. I should have like dropped out. I was going to, and then I was like, no, I probably shouldn't do that. But like in my senior year was like the worst, but I had like the best teachers. Yeah. And when COVID hit, like everything was on like online. Yeah. So it wasn't like in person. I did not do a single thing. Not a single assignment was turned in by me until like the last like week. I crammed everything in. I like pulled all-nighters to do every single assignment that I had, except for the ones that I didn't need, like the chorus. Like, she wanted me to record of me singing and, like, post it onto the thing for everybody to see it. I was like, don't want to do that. So, but chorus isn't a class that you need to pass to graduate. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And then my drama class, like, oh, I didn't have drama in my senior year. But, like, there were like, other classes that I had, like, I only did the ones that I needed. Like, my math class, I did not need. Yeah. Like, I had all the credits that I needed to graduate from my junior year. So my math class... 0%.
I took both geometry and I took like an intro to trig. Loved those. Hated algebra. Algebra can suck.
Algebra can suck
my dick
off. Because why are you adding letters to numbers?
No.
Why?
Geometry and trigonometry are literally just formulas. They're just like, do this, this, and this. Plug this in. And then all you had to do was learn how to use a calculator.
I liked the shapes.
Whoa. Speaking of, hold on. I'm so sorry. Because I'm about to get on my pedestal and I'm about to get on my fucking soapbox. And I'm gonna be here for a minute. Okay. Why the fuck can I not use a calculator on a test?
You can't?
Why can I not use a calculator? You know when you would take tests and they'd be like, oh, you can't use a calculator?
In middle school?
In middle school or in high school. They'd be like, oh, you can't use a calculator. Why?
In high school, I could use a calculator.
I don't see an accountant over there not using a fucking calculator. I don't see that motherfucker. Like, when you're writing and typing things up and they're like, you can't use a dictionary. You can't use I don't see a fucking writer over there. You're telling me she's not using Word docs right now? Like... She's got a fucking typewriter. She's writing it out by hand. Like, no. Bro, that shit made me so mad. They'd be like, you can't use a calculator. Why not?
Right. Why not? Middle school was crazy. I hated middle school.
I miss... Excuse me. Oh my god. The weird thing is like, as dumb as it sounds, I miss going to school.
Me too, but I feel like I don't really miss the classes. I just miss like the people and the teachers.
I think I liked learning, but only on my own time. I was like, do I want to learn this today? No, and like I wouldn't retain anything.
Yeah, I never really understood homework either.
No,
because why are you giving me work to do at home? When I can do it in the class. I
think it's to just make sure that you're following what's going on and everything.
Yeah, but give me a pop quiz or something.
No, don't give me a pop quiz. But no, I was thinking about that earlier because it used to make me so mad when adults were like, oh, you're going to miss going to school. And I was like, fuck you. No, I'm not. I'm so excited to go to work. I'm so excited to get a real job. I want to be in school. I don't want a real job. I don't want to go to work.
Somebody please just eliminate all jobs from the earth. I want to barter, and I want to have a farm, and I just want to live with bartering with everybody around me. I don't want to work. Why do I have to make money? Why do I have to work to make money to be happy?
Thank you for your message.
Yes. You're welcome.
Did you hear that?
Was that your neck? Do it again.
I don't know if I could.
I don't understand how people crack their necks without touching it. Like, I have to, like, force my shit. Like,
Bitch. You look like you're about to pull a fucking exorcist. Like,
I love cracking my back though.
oh, I love cracking my back. I've got scoliosis, so like that should be like.
I don't know how. Like, I never knew that.
Well, I didn't get diagnosed with it until I was 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing is I had been having really bad back problems for a super long time, and I went to my doctor and I was like, yeah, like I don't know if because my mom, I don't know if you remember growing up, my mom's always had horrible back problems. And I was like, I don't know, is this something that you can like inherit? And he was like, typically back.
Did you say Nair? Nair?
Inherit?
Oh.
But no, I was like, can you inherit back problems? He goes, no, you don't typically inherit back problems. And I was like, that's weird. And he was like, why are you having back problems? I was like, yeah. That's why I asked.
Maybe.
I was like, maybe. He was like, well, you're 18. And I'm like, well, age is just a number, baby.
Yeah.
I was like, I need you to check me out. And finally he was like, I wish he phrased it better, but he was like, okay, well, can you lift up your shirt and like bend over? And I was like, and like, if it was anybody else asking me that, I would have been like, fuck you, I'm getting away from you. But also, he was a very good doctor, and like I trusted him, and I was like, okay. So I like lifted up the back of my shirt and I bent over, and he was like, yeah, your spine is curved. And I was like, what? He was like, you have scoliosis. And I was like, what? And so he took a picture of it, and then they did an X-ray, and sure enough, my spine like curves out like that.
Like this? Like S?
Yep. Have you seen a picture? Let me take this off the table. Let me show you a picture actually of scoliosis. Yeah. Mine's like that. So it goes,
A little cutesy. She got a little spice. That one?
I'm not that bad. But okay, so that's the thing is I was like, my back is always in extreme pain. Like it hurts really bad. And he was like, well, what we can do is we can get you set up to get some additional x-rays and everything.
I don't understand x-rays. How does that work? Like, how does it capture, like, just bone?
Because it doesn't capture fluid.
But skin? Is that a vagina? Sorry.
I think it is.
Because it catches the vagina, but not the skin? What?
I don't know how it works. But I went to the additional place because he was like, oh, because he was just like a general doctor. He was like, I don't really have the materials to help you. So I went to this other place and they were like, oh yeah, they took the x-rays and they said that they had caught it, like it wasn't severe enough to where they have to do surgery. So the only way to make it better is to go through physical therapy. But even then, like you can't cure it. It's just gonna help with the pains. And I was like, I ain't got the money to go to physical therapy, so we ride till dawn. Like, let's go.
That is really crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
You can see it too. Like if I lift my shirt up and I bend over, you can like see my spine curve.
Can you lift your shirt up and bend over for me? You see a freckle in your back.
What can I say? I made it myself.
Yes,
Make it a cutesy little freckle.
That is really crazy. I really want. Can you look up how X-rays work?
Yeah.
Because I'm not understanding.
Okay.
Radiation.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Isn't that bad?
Yeah, that's why when you go in to get x-rays and stuff, they have you take out like I think they have you take off like all your jewelry and
I
everything.
thought that was like MRIs.
Is it oh yeah, because there's a magnet in the MRI machine.
That's terrifying.
It is very terrifying.
Bro, what if somebody like has like a chest plate, like a metal like plate?
I think
or, like
they
screws in their knees.
Part of me thinks they make something like specifically for that, but I don't know. I studied like I took one semester when I was actually in high school before they pulled me out for my social anxiety. I took a semester of like health classes because I wanted to be a forensic scientist, and I realized I fucking hated it. I was like, I can't do this.
I bought like an anatomy book when I was in high school because I wanted to take anatomy and I wanted to be a surgeon.
Oh my god. Canon of it.
And I I was like enjoying it, but like also I was scared because I hate blood. So I don't know.
You were going to make it work, bestie, and I applaud you for that.
Girl, I studied that anatomy book. I had them little sticky notes. I had like a journal. I was like writing everything down. And then I was like, how can I do this if I like gag watching Grey's Anatomy?
That's what made me want to be a forensic scientist. Is I was like, bro, this is.
And then my mom was like, no, Grey's Anatomy is not like being a real doctor.
I hated when people told me that too. I was like, oh, I want to be a forensic scientist. And they're like, why? And I'm like, oh, well, I watched Grey's Anatomy. And they were like, well, that's not going to be what it's like. Like, I know that's not what it's going to fucking be like. It's not like I watch Criminal Minds and I'm like, I'm going to go be a profiler. Like, I know that's not what it's going to actually be like. But it inspired me.
Right. I feel like I could accurately profile somebody because of watching that show.
No, I couldn't. I'm going to be so honest with you.
Have you seen those TV shows where they're like parkouring around or like doing like certain stuff, like the floor is lava?
Is there a TV show for that?
Yeah, you haven't seen it?
Oh, I'd be so good at that. Sorry,
dude, I feel like I could body that.
I would be so
I
amazing.
could 100% body that. And people that are like on the show, like, I don't want to say that they look stupid, but like,
it's like when you're watching Wipeout and you're like, I can fucking do that shit.
I could body those fucking big balls, bro.
I really could.
I would 5 seconds. Give me 5 seconds.
It's not that difficult.
I could do it 100%. And then also like the word shows, like I feel like I'd be good at like Jeopardy.
Do you remember on Cartoon Network? Do you remember Hole in the Wall?
Yes. I would absolutely body that. Oh my god.
I don't know what happened that made me think of that. Hole in the Wall, girl.
I used to love.
I used to get so mad.
Stand up and do what they were doing.
No, I used to get so mad at that when they'd be like, "Oh, we didn't fit." I'm like, yeah, motherfuckers, you didn't do it right.
Your leg was up the wrong way.
You don't know what you're fucking doing.
Yeah, bro, I could totally body that stuff.
Oh my god, I would be so amazing at Hole in the Wall. There was also another show where they had like tiles that they had to follow on the floor. I don't know.
Don't even start, because that made me so mad. That made me so angry. It is not. It's a memory game. It is not that hard.
Why are you gonna go onto a show like a memory game and not have a good memory?
Right.
Just like, why are you gonna go on Wipeout and have like no coordination? Me, I would do that. But
I was about to say I have a horrible memory, but I could do that though.
Yeah.
Like, it could not have been that hard.
Yeah. It's not like I'm going like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's for like novices versus like pros. Like you can compare Wipeout to like American Ninja Warrior, and it's like obviously like the people who are good are gonna go on Ninja Warrior.
I feel like I might be able to do that too.
No, I love
except
you
the
so
arm
much.
ones.
No,
Except the arm ones.
I love you so much. My mom, she used to work at a she worked at a trampoline park where they had like a Ninja Warrior course set up, and my friend and I, we would go and we would try to do it, and like I used to watch those and be like, I can do this, no problem, girl.
Was it when the go-karting, when they had that big wall that you would run up?
Maybe they had that at the trampoline park as well.
I did that. Could totally do it. I could totally do it.
Did you?
The American Warrior wall, how tall is that? Like 50 feet?
Did you say 50?
25?
Like it's like 25 or 20.
I feel like I could do 20.
You think?
Yeah, I think I could.
Valid.
I would totally. Okay, maybe not American Ninja Warrior, but Hole in the Wall, yes.
Hole in the
that
Wall.
other one that I was talking about, yes. Wipeout, yes.
Long story short is we would body these TV shows and
somebody put me up there.
Somebody put me up there. Somebody put us up there.
Do they have like adventure parks around? Like anything like that?
The trampoline park.
I had to go to Chuck E. Cheese with Kayla, and they told us that we couldn't go because we didn't have a child with us.
Part of me understands that. I'm like, I appreciate you protecting the kids, but also like, let me play some. Let me play the B game. Give me that little B.
Like, I get it, but we were also like, we weren't even like. I think she was 18 and I was 17.
Yeah, and Dave and Buster's sucks. I hate Dave and Buster's.
I'm going there tomorrow.
Sorry, that was like really bad timing. This place fucking
no, it's okay.
sucks.
The last time I went to Dave and Buster's, it was like packed and it sucked. Like there was nothing. Like there was lines for fucking games that I had to wait in. I was like,
no, we should definitely find like an adventure park or something and go. But also just us. Like I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to bring other people to watch me fail. Yeah, we can.
They have at the no, not the zoo. The aquarium has an adventure park in it.
That's true. It does.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
I don't think it's in season right now, but I think it is during the summer.
Yeah, we can definitely go.
And also, it's probably expensive.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. It's literally just us talking.
Sitting on the floor.
Sitting on the floor in front of the fireplace. The fake fireplace.
It's real.
It's real.
Stay Delulu.
Who said it was fake? Delulu is the Salulu.
Delulu is the
Delulu is the Salulu. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed so much. Please like and share with your friends and everything. Follow the channel that you found this on. Subscribe.
We will be on Spotify, YouTube,
Apple.
and Apple.
I believe so. Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
It's like Apple.
Apple Podcast. We'll be in the Big Apple. We'll be in the Apple.
Follow us on TikTok.
On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Anything and everything we'll have linked either down below or in a bio or anything like that. So yeah. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. And
Finger guns.
We'll see you later.